4 Ukrainian soldiers who had spent more than 3 years in Russian-controlled territory have been evacuated. Oleksii Neizhpapa, commander of the Ukrainian Navy, reported this. Neizhpapa said that Olha Reshetilova, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's commissioner for the protection of rights of service members and their families, had received a report that the twin brother of a recently exchanged Marine had been severely wounded during fighting in Ukraine's east in 2022. The soldier ended up in a hospital and, thanks to sympathetic doctors, was hidden from Russian secret services. Upon receiving the report, the Navy Command decided to begin special evacuation measures. It later turned out that, along with the twin brother, 3 National Guard soldiers had also been in the hospital, where they had been forced to hide for more than 3 years. In the end, the Navy's Special Reconnaissance Unit Angels evacuated the Marine, the 3 National Guard fighters, and a hospital medic who had helped them hide. The operation was planned and carried out in several stages, taking into account the illegal status of all involved, the high intensity of fighting, and the strengthened filtration measures by Russian secret services. Our soldiers are safe and finally reunited with their families. The Navy's Special Reconnaissance Unit, Angels, has rescued 88 people and once again proved that nothing is impossible for Ukrainian soldiers. We are fighting for everyone, Oleksii Neizhpapa said. President Volodymyr Zelenski said in July that Kiev had secured the release of over 6,400 Ukrainians from Russian captivity since 2022, of whom 5,857 were freed during prisoner exchanges. He told that Ukraine had brought home 5,857 people from Russian captivity via exchanges since the outbreak of Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. Another 555 people were freed separately from prisoner exchanges, Zelensky added, without providing additional details. The president made the announcement following a meeting with a team focused on the repatriation of prisoners held by Russia, which coincided with the commemoration of the massacre of Ukrainian prisoners of war, POW, in a Russian military prison in Olenivka in 2022. It is important to continue exchanges and verify the situation for every single name. Each person matters, Zelensky said. Over 50 Ukrainian POWs were killed in an explosion in Russian-occupied Olenivka in Donetsk Oblast between July the 28th and 29th, 2022. Kiev has accused Russia of carrying out the attack and of deliberately placing members of the Azov regiment in a building that was later destroyed. Moscow has denied responsibility and blamed Kiev for the explosion, a claim rejected by the UN investigation. According to an investigation by Ukraine's Prosecutor General's office, over 11,000 Ukrainians were illegally detained by Russia in places of deprivation of liberty during the war.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday said India and Russia appear to have been lost to China, following the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting in Beijing this week where their leaders stood alongside Chinese President Xi Jinping. Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest, China. May they have a long and prosperous future together. Trump wrote in a post on his social media platform. He also shared a photo of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in Tianjin. Earlier, Trump accused Xi Jinping of conspiring against the U.S. with the leaders of Russia and North Korea. His comments came as China hosted world leaders at its largest ever Victory Day parade in Beijing on Wednesday. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote, "Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America." Trump met with Putin in Alaska on August 15 for a summit hoping for a deal on ceasefire in Ukraine. But attempts at a peaceful settlement between Russia and Ukraine have stalled. Donald Trump is losing hope for a quick breakthrough and accuses Europe and China of supporting the war, NBC News reports. According to two senior officials in the U.S. presidential administration, Trump has become more pessimistic about the prospects of ending Russia's war against Ukraine and the possibility of a personal meeting between the leaders of the two countries. However, Trump has not abandoned the idea of resolving the conflict. He held a video conference with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders. During the conversation, he stressed that Europe must stop purchasing Russian oil that is funding the war. According to a White House representative, Trump also stressed the need to increase pressure on China. He emphasized that Beijing supports Russia's military actions and must bear the economic consequences. This approach differs from Trump's rhetoric during the 2024 election campaign. At that time, he confidently stated that he would be able to end the war within 24 hours of taking office. He later explained that he was speaking figuratively. Now, the U.S. president acknowledges that the conflict has proven to be much more complex than he had anticipated.
Representatives of the partisan movement Atesh reported that their agent visited the village of Kovalkino in Mordovia, where the over-the-horizon radar station container is located. The public Atesh stated that with the help of this radar system, the Kremlin is monitoring not only Ukraine but also European countries. During the monitoring, the agent recorded all important moments on photos, including the security of the facility and power supply units. All the information received was transferred to the relevant authorities in Kiev. The source also wrote that from now on, container is under fire, and the new super technologies are vulnerable, like other Russian military facilities. 29B6 container is a Russian over-the-horizon radar station that provides long-range airspace monitoring and ballistic missile detection. The radar was developed in 2013 and entered service with the Russian Defense Ministry in 2019. The Kremlin has another radar of this type, which is located in Kaliningrad. The radar controls airspace at a distance of up to 10 kilometers in height. The price of such a system is 10 billion rubles. The system consists of two separate antenna arrays, one for the transmitter and one for the receiver. The receiver antenna array has 144 antenna masts, each 34 meters high. Ukraine has attacked this station twice. The first time was in April 2024 when drones damaged the command post building. The second time was in the same month, when a fire was recorded on the territory of the military facility, but the results of the attacks remain a mystery. Let us figure out how many years it took to manufacture and deploy such a radar station on combat duty. The data available indicates that the development and manufacturing of the 29B6 container took place from 1995 to 2000, with testing and subsequent refinement of the station to the required condition occurring from 2002 to 2012. Moreover, it was only in 2012 that the Russian Ministry of Defense officially announced the commissioning of the 29B6 container over-the-horizon radar for experimental combat duty, with the full-scale combat duty of this station, according to Russian propagandists, started only in 2019. This is essentially the most powerful radar in the possession of the Russian Federation. It currently exists only as a singular instance